What's up, everybody, and welcome back to Fireside Giants. I'm your host, Anthony Rivardo, joined by my co-host, Alex Wilson. Once again, guys, diving back into the film. Last week, we spent a lot of time looking at the All-22 on many of the top quarterback prospects in the upcoming 2025 draft class. You guys really enjoyed that series, so we're keeping it going. We started it off last week, Alex, with Jaxson Dart, the quarterback out of Ole Miss, and now we're going to pick up where we left off and take a look at a couple more games from Jaxson Dart, since he is an intriguing prospect. A lot of Giants fans seem to really like him. He's a little bit of a polarizing prospect as well, I would say. I think that some fans feel as though he's worthy of being drafted in the first round, and others feel like he's a fifth-round draft pick. Where do we stand on that? Well, we're still formulating our opinions, as most people are. It's only January, and we have to get until April before the draft rolls around. But right now, I think he is a day two pick, and he's somebody that I could see as an intriguing selection for the New York Giants if they're unable to walk out of round one with Shedeur Sanders or Cam Ward. Those are the two guys, obviously, that I prefer in this draft class. But looking at Dart has been a lot of fun so far, and we've got two game films that we want to take a look at today versus Georgia and Arkansas. Some pretty tough opponents there. He had some highs and he had some lows, and there's a lot to take away from these games, so we're excited to go ahead and dive into them. Alex, before we do so, how are you doing today, my friend? And, as we prepare to look at some more Jaxson Dart film, where do you stand with him as a prospect right now?
I'm doing pretty good. And man, listen, we did a lot of film review last week, and to those filtering in right now, welcome to Fireside Giants. But yeah, Jaxson Dart's an interesting one. And I found myself thinking, of course, we love Cam Ward and we like Sanders, and those two guys are probably going to be high first round picks. But I kept thinking to myself, man, Dart is an interesting prospect, and I need to see more of Jaxson Dart before I really give a full grade, a full comprehensive breakdown of what I think his upside and what he can be as an NFL player. And I mean, from the first film that we saw a player with a lot of potential. We saw the ability to throw on the run. We saw a great deep ball. We saw decent processing. I know he sometimes can get stuck on that first read. That offense that Lane Kiffin runs is very, very favorable to quarterbacks at Ole Miss. So, that is something to take into account, and really how they simplify that offense. It's not a very extremely complicated offense. It's very much built to maximize a quarterback. And I think that Jaxson Dart does a lot of great physical traits. And one of the things I do believe is that he's 1.5 years younger than Sanders and Ward. So he's not there physically yet. He's not there mentally yet. Like, he's just taking the steps in the right direction and hopefully getting better. And we wanted to take a look at two games today, Anthony, in Arkansas and Georgia. One where he annihilated Arkansas, like one of the best performances of his career. And then against Georgia, a little bit less of a great performance. He had a little bit more issues and wasn't his best statistical game. So we want to take a look at kind of the polarizing nature, but against Georgia, that's a good defense. That's a great defense. So we want to see how he fared and the decision-making he did make. I know, Anthony, you've seen a little bit more of that Georgia game. I have not seen it yet, so I'll be reacting live for the first time, but I do think that we're going to get a lot more information on our grades on Dart. And right now I have him as a day two guy. I have him as a second round pick. And I do think that right now, if I were the Giants and I went BPA in the first, if that was the best decision, they got Dart in the second round, that could be a viable solution. But after this film session, that may change. But Anthony, we can dive into that and start to kind of round out our opinions a bit further.
Yeah, before we do dive into this film, though, I wanted to ask you about something that's connected to this topic today, but a little bit off topic as well. So I don't know if you saw the quote from Eli Manning. Eli Manning said recently while speaking with the New York Post that he loves watching film. He's been watching film. And if the Giants ask him to, he'll continue to watch film and give them some scouting reports. And I thought that was some pretty exciting news that maybe we even cover in a whole episode down the line here in the next couple of days. But I wanted to get your initial take to that and also add some context to it. Eli Manning, obviously every year the Manning Passing Academy takes place. If you guys don't know about the Manning Passing Academy, pretty much all of the best quarterbacks in the NFL attended the Manning Passing Academy at one point or another. I'm talking Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Brock Purdy, Dak Prescott, Jalen Hurts. All of the top quarterbacks around the league have attended the Manning Passing Academy or did when they were in college. And this year, Jaxson Dart obviously attended. He's from Ole Miss, so that makes sense that he was at the Manning Passing Academy. But so did a lot of other prospects, including Riley Leonard, Will Howard, some of these other guys who we will take a look at later on down the line. So I think that the Giants should ask Eli Manning to give his input and look for what he thinks in these guys, especially in the off the field sense. I think it would make a lot of sense for the New York Giants to rely on the one franchise quarterback, legitimate franchise quarterback they've had in the last 2 decades being Eli Manning. They should absolutely seek his opinion this offseason, in my opinion. Alex, what's your brief take on that? The fact that Eli Manning wants to be involved with the scouting process here, and do you think that he should be?
I mean, I don't think Eli Manning's a scout. I think he's a former great quarterback, but he definitely knows what to look for in terms of what makes a player competitive, what makes a player talented, what makes a player high upside. So, yeah, I don't mind getting his opinion on the matter. I mean, in more opinions from knowledgeable people, the better, in my opinion. But, I do think that it can't hurt. But I'm not going to sit here and act like Eli Manning's decision, his opinion is the end all be all, right? It's something I will factor into our general collective thought. And if I was the GM, if I was the head coach, I would think I would take his opinion and say, yeah, I'm going to factor that into our equation, but I'm not going to just sit there and listen to him at face value and not do our own research just because it's Eli Manning. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I don't know who suggested that we should just take Eli's opinion and run with it.
No, that's just, no, of course, no one suggests that. That's just what I'm saying. Because some people may be like, oh yeah, Eli knows best. I don't know.
No, Eli doesn't know best. Eli knows a lot, but he definitely isn't he's not a general manager for a reason. But I do think that they should take his opinion and consider it. And especially, like I said, the off the field opinion, since he does know a lot of these guys personally and saw the way that they train at the Manning Passing Academy. That's a hidden behind the scenes look at those prospects that the Giants just can't get. So I think that's where the real value comes from with Eli Manning. But again, one of the Manning Passing Academy attendees, Jaxson Dart. Let's waste no more time. Let's go ahead and dive into the film. I'm going to go ahead and pull that up here in just a second. Again, we're going to be taking a look at the Georgia game first and foremost. And I think there's a lot to be excited about within that game against Georgia, as I accidentally turned my camera off and disappeared for 2 seconds.
We're back.
Yes, we are so back. All right, let's go ahead and get this game film review started.
Yeah, and just to preface this by saying, in this game, Jaxson Dart had 199 passing yards, a touchdown, an interception, and a 59.1% completion rate on only 27 dropbacks. So very minimal passing game for him, actually. This is an interesting game for him for sure.
Yep, so on this first play, he takes a sack, but I kind of want to look at the fact that it's a 4-man pass rush, but they're blocking 2 extra versus a 4-man pass rush. So I don't really understand. They're blocking 7 against a 4-man rush, and they've only got 3 receivers going out for a route. I mean, if you want to make life hard on your quarterback, that's just do it right there.
Yeah, and at the same time, I do recall the left tackle being absolutely buns, so we will have to keep an eye on that as well.
Yeah, that is something to keep an eye on. And I mean, nobody's open here. This is a coverage sack, and this is more of a play calling sack, in my opinion. I mean,
I don't mind that he dropped his eyes and tried to run. I don't mind that he tried to get something out of it. Yeah, exactly. It was a good ability to diagnose that nothing was open and try to make something happen. He navigates the internal pocket pretty well there in terms of just trying to get something.
Sure.
Trying to.
Yeah. As we saw last time we watched Ole Miss film with Jaxson Dart, they run a lot of play action, very play action heavy. I think there might be an opportunity here with this outside wide receiver breaking over the middle. Just because 17 is pulled down to 6, I would have liked to seen Jaxson Dart recognize that and pull that trigger. Middle field is definitely open here. He takes a sack instead. And I feel like this is one of those examples where, he looked at the first read and obviously this is covered. These 2 route concepts are clearly covered up by 3. It's a 2-on-3 situation here, but you got to know that means backside is open and he doesn't get to the backside. It kind of looks like he does, but he doesn't pull the trigger anyway. He just doesn't throw it. And instead he flushes out of the pocket to the right when the pressure is coming from the right. So this is a pretty poor rep here from Jaxson Dart.
Yeah, I think he recognizes the coverage pretty quickly. He just, like you said, doesn't pull the trigger, which is something that sometimes we see with Cam Ward. He'll like skip over reads at times when they're open. But yeah, I think more experience would probably help in this instance, just being more reactive and decisive. One thing with Cam Ward, he will pull the trigger immediately when he sees someone open. So I do think there is a big difference there.
Yeah. I mean, you could see right here, he's looking into that window.
Yep.
Just got to pull that trigger. So,
yeah.
And then again, the pressure's coming from the right and he runs to the right, which doesn't really make a ton of sense.
That was my one huge red flag, is that he's super reactive when he feels pressure. Like he suddenly abandons like his reads. He just drops and starts to try to escape. Oof, that's ugly.
Yep. Here's the pick that I told you the other day. I had skimmed through this game and watched at least a few throws from it, and this was the one that I was referring to, where he airmailed the pass over the middle. You can never throw over the middle high, and Well, he does that here. Maybe his arm gets hit, but even still, I mean.
Yeah, way over his head. It's just bad mechanics. It happens. Let's see. He rebounds after this clearly because that was the one interception. So he has some success later on. But so far early, not great from Jaxson Dart.
Yeah, once again, I think this is one read and then he's deciding where he's going with the ball. I think the pressure obviously disrupts him here. The right guard does a terrible job and the pressure makes it a poor throw. But again, if you're able to get to your other reads, I think you've got right side flat open against this coverage. So
I definitely feel as though so far from the games we've watched, his offensive line is quite poor.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah, his arm looks like it gets hit from this angle.
Yeah, it definitely does. But even still, I'm not crazy about the decision with the ball. But yeah,
it's
his arm definitely got hit.
Yeah. Oh, he's limping after that too. All right, he's back in the game. That's nice. I like that.
Good timing. That's a good throw. Great timing on that one.
Mm-hmm. He gets his feet set. Like he can sling it when he's in his base.
Agreed.
I don't mind that throw. It's fine.
I think that's a great throw. It needs to be high to make sure that the linebacker can't get his hand on it.
Yep.
In stride. It's man coverage. So you want to take those little crossing routes against man. So it's a good throw.
I do think, Anthony, your take about him is that he will be a high-end backup at the very least for a team one day if he doesn't become a starter.
Yeah, I think that he is potentially Daniel Jones with better arm talent in many ways. I think the strengths and weaknesses are very similar. So yeah, I do think and Daniel Jones will be a high-level backup for the Vikings or whoever this upcoming season. So I think it's a reasonable comparison.
Yeah, well, we just hope that there's a little bit more because he's young, more to his development.
Right, and I'm not saying that he's 1-to-1 to Daniel Jones in any way. I'm saying strengths and weaknesses are similar. Plus, you have to keep in mind Daniel Jones didn't even put up close to the numbers that Jaxson Dart did while playing in the ACC for Duke, and Jaxson Dart put up the most ridiculous numbers playing in the SEC for Ole Miss. So clearly, he's a better, more accomplished prospect than Daniel Jones. So don't take that slight comparison as a 1-to-1, please.
Right.
I don't want people to kill me in the comment section. Anytime you say Daniel Jones' name, they just,
I would have liked him. I don't know if this was just like the read, but he had a flat, like a release option at the tight end on the left side that he just abandons quickly. But I don't know.
I mean,
schematics related.
This is just a fade, goal line fade, basically.
That's what it looks like.
It's very weird that they run that. You don't often see play action into the fade. But the receiver kind of gives up because he's covered. He shouldn't throw this ball. He clearly could get to this other read and chooses not to. So
yeah, he does stick on his first read at times. That's been one of the cons that we've seen a lot of people saying about him.
Yeah, and that ball was never going to be catchable anyway. He freaking sailed that thing. So
yeah, looks like he threw it away, honestly.
Yeah, maybe he did. Nice play by the running back to pick up.
What's up, Mike G? There. You. Yep, we'll take that. We like taking what defenses give. We like that.
Oh, I love that.
Nice. Oof, that ref almost got rocked.
That's another example, though, of Lane Kiffin making this a very easy passing offense for Jaxson Dart. But also, this is good recognition from Dart. So you'll see this linebacker is bluffing his blitz before the play, and he comes in hot, knowing that it's going to leave the running back open in the flat when that linebacker blitzes, because the linebacker should be covering that running back. So
good identification there.
I agree.
He's starting to get some momentum in this game. Slowly.
Bouncing back from some early jitters.
Yep. Like you can see flashes of it. Like you can see flashes of what makes him a competent quarterback at the next level. He's just a little inconsistent with it. And that's something that I think will another team, like they're going to have to really develop him. Like he's the type of player, in my opinion, that needs like 2 years to get to that point. Like a good coaching, a good mentor, a veteran, and he could get there in like 2 years. Like if they sat him, I know some other teams like, obviously like Jordan Love, they they sat him for years before they let him take over. So he may benefit from a situation like that.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's the definition of a developmental prospect, being 21 years old and,
Right.
not playing in a pro style offense. So I agree with you there. I will say, I think that one thing we can identify here, if we want to make comparisons to the rest of the class, on this play in particular, you see the slot receiver clear this slot cornerback and then break up the seam here. And this is a very difficult throw to make, and it's one that you're probably coached not to make. But these are the kind of throws to this seam route over this linebacker in between the safety. I don't think Jaxson Dart has the arm strength and possibility to make this throw, but there are guys who can and will make this throw, and those are the special players. Like last year when we would evaluate Caleb Williams, Drake May, Jaden Daniels, all three of those guys can probably have the balls to do it, make this throw. Jaxson Dart, I don't think has the balls to do it, and I don't think he has the arm talent to do it either. So I just wanted to highlight there is a read here. It's a very difficult throw, but if you put this back shoulder, protect that receiver, you might be able to pick up a pretty big chunk play here, but I don't think Dart's capable of making throws like that.
Yeah, I mean, he manages to make something. He keeps his eyes downfield, which I like, but you're right. Like, there is an opportunity to try and, he's on the run. He could have thrown that ball right there. When he leaks out, like right here, he could have thrown that ball, but he decides not to.
Yeah, and I think 19 feels open. He's standing there. He's like,
Cam would have made that throw for sure.
I agree. I think I actually think Shedeur would probably make that throw too. Also, before we dive into this next play, I know you had the typo, Mike G. I saw you correct it. You said, I'm killing it on Bleacher Report. Been watching the past few weeks. Mike, thank you so much. Everybody, if you're not tuning in every Wednesday and Friday night, 6 p.m. Eastern, I go live on the Bleacher Report app. So that includes tonight, 6 o'clock. You can catch me there talking about the New York Giants twice a week. So, Mike, thanks for tuning in to those, and thanks for the shout out in the comments.
Yes, sir. All right, let's see what we got. Little designed run for Dart. I just don't get these runs sometimes.
I just don't get why they run them up the middle.
I know, like just get it to the outside if you're going to try and do that. Running into
He's not exactly some physical imposing force of nature here, so I don't putting him up between the tackles is just like, I don't know.
Our friend Turd Hauler has returned.
I think this read to 86 is clearly open. They actually, I think, utilize the ref here to get open. This ball, once again, I think there's just a problem getting through the progressions and settling on the check down too soon.
Like, he's not waiting that extra split second for his guys to get open, and he didn't even see that guy, actually. He didn't even look his direction.
Yeah, I think he's just rushing. He's not going through his progressions. Let's see this throw, though. Also covered. This is a very covered throw. He does beat him off the line of scrimmage with inside leverage, but it's given inside leverage because they know that there's a safety. They're trying to push him inside, so I'm not sure. I think that going through your progressions and hitting number 3 with clear off coverage on that outside cornerback would have been the move here.
I need to see it from another angle. I just want to see how close that ball was because my screen is small compared to. It wasn't the worst throw in the world. A faster receiver probably gets that.
Well, here, backed up in your own end zone, you never want to be in this situation, especially with this offensive line. I think that he short arms his throw, and I think the referee might have had something to do with that.
That referee, man, is in the way of every single play. He is not moving no matter what. Look at him. He's just standing in the same spot.
Yeah, that's a good throw, though. That's a great throw on this slant. I love these two-man route concepts where you're reading it and you're using one to get the other guy open, right? Because in order to get on this route, 6 probably has to run into his own man, doesn't know where to go because that route's in his way. So it just creates such an opening there. It's a really good throw. Really good route concept, and then just a solid throw.
Yeah.
Damn, dude, I wonder, he ran that guy over. Did you see that? Watch this. Bam.
Ooh, you would like that.
I do like that.
The ref is looking to go pro. Dude, that guy is way too heavy to go pro unless he's going to be a DT. All right. He's staring, damn. I mean, he is really looking. He is really
This one, he goes through the reads.
He does, but he's locked
1,
in
2, 3
on that side of the field. But yes, there are 3 receivers right there, so that would make sense that he goes through those.
Yeah. Yeah, this is a good throw.
That's a great throw.
Nice. Yep.
On the money. I don't know what my pro comp for Dart is just yet.
I think again, I think a higher upside Daniel Jones is mine. And then maybe
He's a
Brock
tough
Purdy
one.
is similar.
I was
think
gonna
Brock
say
Purdy's very
Brock.
similar in some ways.
I think he's like he's Brock Purdy, but with worse processing, like far worse processing.
All right, let's see here. Again, another incompletion that goes short and is underthrown. This is closed off by the safety. This is bracketed. This is your only one-on-one coverage, and it's in the flat. This is the right read and right throw. Guy's just not open. He's getting locked up in man coverage, I think.
Yeah, their coverage, Georgia's coverage. I mean, they have the receivers in prison.
See, this is why I hate doing these pro comps. I just said he is a better prospect than Daniel Jones, and he has higher upside. And someone says, "What the fuck are you saying? He's way better prospect than Daniel Jones." That's what I just said. I know. I just don't like doing pro comparisons. Nobody ever actually listens to the pro comparisons. They always have to nitpick it.
That's what those ears are for, bro.
Yeah, like that's what I said. He's oh God, just can't. No, Mike, it's not on you. I appreciate all the comments and questions and engagement. It's just when you're not going to listen to what I'm saying, don't comment on what I'm saying. That's how I feel. A little testy today. Sorry, guys.
That was a nice throw, though.
That was a nice throw. I'm actually going to rewind and take a look at that again. I said Daniel Jones, yes. Let's listen to 2 words out of a 10-word sentence and just pull those 2 words away. Okay. I can't. I'm not looking at that anymore. This is a really good read, though, in these zone coverages. You have to throw into the open windows and the spots, and he does a good job of that. And also, I will say that the receiver does a good job because he sits down at the top of this route, and then he creates a little bit more space for himself, just drifting into that open pocket. And it's a really great, well-timed throw from Dart.
Yeah. Let's see. I mean, yeah, it's a good
Guns
throw.
that thing too.
He does. He's got some zip on his passes. Like I think he has similar, I guess you could say, arm talent to Sanders. I don't think they're that vastly different in terms of their arm talent. Like he can make all these throws. That was a nice throw right there too.
Yeah, this one's real nice. I like that he's working the middle of the field in the more recent throws in this game.
That's the pocket movement that I want to see from him more, though. You know, like he recalibrates, he gets himself into a good spot where he feels safe, and then he lets it rip. A lot of times he bails out of the pocket when it's clean and starts rolling out and then shortens the field for himself.
Yeah, and also on this play, he goes through multiple reads here. Look, watch, he reads this one and he sees, okay, there's no leverage for this receiver, so this go ball isn't open. He wants to throw the go ball, but he knows that it's not going to be open, so he looks it off and he decides, okay, it's two deep safeties. That means middle of the field open. Let's take a look at the middle of the field. And then this receiver breaks open and he's on time and he's very accurate with that throw to get him in stride. So
yeah, when he's got a clean base, he's very accurate. I don't see any problems. Like that's everything's good there.
Yeah, this is a way better poise in the pocket.
Stays right in the center. I love that mobility. I love that little movement to buy himself some comfort, you could say, in a clean pocket. That I want to see that more consistently. It's a little underthrown.
But I think it's a good read of the coverage here, and he does layer it into a zone.
It's complete. I don't mind. I mean, everything's perfect. Just a little underthrown, but everything else looks good.
Yeah, I really love these route concepts that they're opening up for him. But yeah, a little underthrown. I think if that ball is a little bit more mustard on it, receiver can make more yard after the catch.
Yeah, I mean, again, in the NFL, that throw is right on time because this field's a little bit thinner. That's a dot. That's a great ball.
That's actually, I might have to eat my words because earlier in the game I said that he can't make that throw. Remember that one?
Made that throw.
Made that throw. So I'll take it back and I'll give him a lot of credit for this one.
Yeah, this was a beautiful throw. That's a ballsy throw too. I mean, the guy's got some gonads for sure. I like that throw. It eliminates a lot of the concerns that we had previously in terms of like, can he do this?
Yeah, I mean, that's a nice ball.
That's a dart
you know,
too.
you know what play this reminds me of? Do you
No.
remember when Eli Manning threw that game-winning touchdown
To
pass to
Manningham?
Larry Donnell? No,
Oh,
Larry Donnell
yes.
versus the 49ers. Yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah.
Or maybe it was, I think it was the Niners. Yeah,
I
right up
like
his seam like that.
yeah, I do actually remember that now that you're mentioning it, but I do like how much he grew into this game so far. Like, he started slow, he started to adjust to the defense and really figure it out. And I don't know how this game ended. I'm sure Georgia whipped their ass, or maybe not, because Carson Beck kind of blows. But like, I think that was a throw right there that was quite impressive.
Yeah, I was very impressed with that throw, and I do agree with your assessment here. I think that he got a lot better as the game went on. I don't know what he was thinking on this play. I watched this one a couple days ago, and I still am confused with this basketball chest pass into the middle of the field. Maybe he thought the referee once again was on the team.
Is he
I'm not sure what he was thinking there.
Maybe he's just trying to get it out before he took a sack. I don't know. But was that a 2-point conversion?
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah, it was a 2-point conversion. Also, there's a missed hands to the face. It should have been roughing the passer. They should have gotten a new down here, I'll say.
Yeah. Just looked like he was trying to do something instead of just give up and take a sack on 2-point conversion. Oh, now this is what I love to see. I want to see that I thought, and he looks like a hitman. I just go out of bounds at that point. Like, I'd rather him be a little bit smarter with that, but I'll tell you one thing, he's competitive. He's not afraid to go take on a DB in the open field.
Yeah, I liked it. I like that.
Yeah, I don't mind.
Lower that shoulder and pick up some extra yards.
Yep.
Bring the boom. Damn. That's nice. You know, there's another quarterback that I know of who likes to bring the boom, and he was running, played for the New York Giants, but I'm not allowed to say that. So
no, you're not. He is he who shall not be named. That he short arms that. He tries to put it in a place where that guy is not. He's gonna run his guy into no man's land, or he's gonna get killed. But he skips the ball sometimes. That is a bit of a concern.
Yeah, I mean, I can't even really understand why. Like, his base is fine, his mechanics are fine. He ends up just throwing it into the dirt, and I don't really understand what went wrong here. Mechanically, it looks fine. It's just misses it, but it's an open receiver.
He kind of has this tendency where, like, sometimes I kind of want him to put a little more touch on it, and he just puts so much zip on it, it dies. You know, like, he doesn't get the elevation. Like, sometimes I want him to just hit this ball, like, throw this thing right into this. I mean, that guy's gonna get killed if he doesn't zip this in, because that safety's coming down on. But I do think that sometimes he, like, tries to put too much zip, and they die. The throws just die halfway there.
Yeah. So let's see this one. I can't tell. This might have been. Can't tell if this is more of a miscommunication or just a bad throw. I don't know, because it's like so in the wrong spot. I can't tell if he just. Oh, I think it got tipped.
Oh, I think he got tipped. Yeah, had to have been. Yeah, that definitely. Got, yeah, that ball starts wobbling. Okay, that makes more sense.
That also got tipped.
Another one.
Yeah, that's just nobody picked up the blitzer.
He was open though. Yeah, just the offensive line still some not so good moments.
We have a super chat in from H50 Pharaoh. Thank you for tuning in.
Thank you
for the super chat. He says, will you do more film on Milroe from 2023 and 2024 and show his progression as a quarterback? Love the channel. Yeah, we're definitely going to watch more Milroe on the channel. And I do really like that idea of watching 2023 and 2024 and seeing that progression. Maybe if we have some time in our next film review, we'll do one game from each season, hopefully against the same opponent. I think that would be interesting, Alex. Like, if we can get an Alabama versus LSU 23 and 24, that might be a really good concept there to see how he faced the same team 2 seasons in a row and how he progressed. So it's a great idea, and I'm pretty excited for that. Not sure if you're speaking, but I think you might be muted. There you go.
No, I'm not speaking.
Okay. Sorry, I thought I saw you. Thought I saw your mouth move.
I wasn't not spoken.
Maybe you're just mouth breathing again.
I'm talking to myself in my own head.
So actually, They won this game. They beat number 3 ranked Georgia 28-10.
That was a great play, by the way.
Yeah, my bad.
That was a really nice play. This was talk about an escape artist. That was a really nice play. Exactly, Sinister Soup. I'll let my eyes do the talking.
Yeah, it was an excellent play. He knows where the check down is, which is pretty important.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd say. Eyes downfield, finds it.
That's so
I
much
love
more
that, though.
poise in the pocket than we saw earlier in this game, too. Like, that's a tremendous improvement right there.
Right? Like, he grows into games, and then, sometimes it doesn't go to his his favor. But what I do like here is that he sees the pressure, and he's like, if I try to run this, I'm going to get stuck there. That's such a PI. Holy crap. That's why I think he threw this. He saw that DPI. Did they not call that?
They gave it. I don't think so. I don't really know if it was. It kind of looks like he just...
You put your hands on someone like that.
Receiver just tried to sell it.
Maybe. It looks like he stopped running.
Yeah, he did. He stopped running the route.
Why on earth, as a receiver, would you ever stop running a route mid-play? That because you benched.
Well, when you get just beat by the cornerback so badly.
Yeah, right. He just gave up. Like, dude, this play was going to you. This play was designed for you to run.
Yeah, this play is designed for one of these two outside receivers to get a 50-50 ball. So you better run downfield and give yourself an opportunity for that 50-50 ball. Because even if you are beat on top like that, which he was, that means Dart can still throw it to you back shoulder. So you better keep running downfield and not just throw your hands up and pray that you get a DPI that you don't deserve.
Facts.
There you go.
What the hell? What the hell? Is that Vanilla Vic?
Could be.
That's nice, dude. I mean, he's got some nice contact balance for a quarterback, to be honest.
Yeah, he pretty much hurdled somebody there.
I know.
Yeah, what's your take on Jaxson Dart's mustache, though?
I'd love me a good mustache. Love me a good one.
He doesn't have a good mustache.
Oh, if that's not the case, then yeah, I probably don't want a good mustache. I wasn't evaluating his facial hair.
You gotta look at his mustache.
His film.
There was one time a commentator commented on his mustache. That's like... James wants us to watch Dart versus LSU and JD5. I saw a few people chatting about that one in the comments. That was a really good and intriguing game, and we definitely will study that at some point. That was from last season.
Thank you,
They went toe-to-toe, and he played great. And it's one that scouts are very interested in. And, yeah, thanks for the super chat, James.
Appreciate you.
All right, so what were your takeaways from this game? And then we'll move on to the next one.
Well, first and foremost, he's a very capable runner, and he's still only 21 years old. So I think that there's a lot of upside there physically. I think that I saw him get better as the game progressed against one of the nation's best defenses in college, and I like that. I think he short arms some throws like we saw right there. There's sometimes he abandoned his mechanics at times, and he's got the arm strength though. We've seen him make the throws. He just is inconsistent. Is the best way to put it. He's just an inconsistent player right now. And in this game specifically, Arkansas, though, he annihilates them. We're going to see a very dominant player in this next game we're about to take a look at, a much different one than the one we just watched. So from a game-by-game basis, you're getting a little bit of a different player, but he navigates the pocket better in this game that I saw in previous ones. He stays up. He keeps his eyes downfield. He makes some nice plays happen. He's actually pretty decent off script. He does find opportunities. So, so far, there are a lot of traits I like about Jaxson Dart. Do I think he's the future right now? No, I think he needs at least a year of development. But listen, Sanders and Ward, I also think they need some time to sit too. So, one's a third round pick, and one's probably going to be a second round pick. So, you get to decide where you'd rather go with the upside. But I do think Jaxson Dart here, being a year and a half younger and with his traits, there's some stuff to like for sure.
I think there's plenty to like with Jaxson Dart. Again, I think that the upside is really high for him, and I think at the bare minimum, he can be a backup and a high-quality one at that. I think that from this game, some of my takeaways from this particular game versus Georgia, he clearly, Ole Miss was outmatched here in terms of talent on the field. They won the game pretty handedly 28-10, but there weren't a lot of open receivers for Jaxson Dart to throw to. And in the first half of this game, he was under constant pressure and getting hit a lot because his offensive line couldn't hold up against Georgia's defensive line. But in the second half of the game, they adjusted and they created a more quick passing offense for him. So credit to Lane Kiffin for calling the plays. But also, I think that Jaxson Dart showed market improvement from the first half to the second half of this game in terms of his mobility and presence within the pocket and poise, like on the play that just flashed on your screen. He had so much poise on a play like that. There was another one later on where he ended up getting off script and throwing to the check down and sparking a big play. Plus, he showed off his athleticism. There are a lot of pros to Jaxson Dart's game, and there's a lot to like. The cons, though, are pretty concerning with his inability to get off of his first read sometimes. Yes, in this game, he did flash a few moments where he got off that first read, got to that third read, made that throw, and that's nice. But I would like to see him do that a little bit more consistently. And that's really the whole thing here with every quarterback, consistency. How consistently do you get through your reads? How consistently do you create those yards with your legs? How consistently do you do everything? It is all about consistency. And I just want to see Jaxson Dart grow into a more consistent player. But again, if he has time to grow at the next level and develop, maybe behind a bridge quarterback, I do think there is an opportunity for him to become a pretty special player because he does have some very high quality and high level traits to his game.
Yeah, I agree. I would say his arm isn't anything like astronomical. Like it's good, not great, but there's room for development there. Do you want to stay in there and take a look at the other game? The Arkansas
I'm
game?
pulling it up right now.
Okay, cool. But yeah, so for the most part, I mean, so far I'm impressed with Jaxson Dart. I don't think he's a first round pick, but I think that there's traits there that are going to grow, and more experience is going to help him. So I'm quite excited to watch this one and see how he destroys Arkansas, because this game, like, these are the games that, like, yeah, they make every prospect look 100 times better, but I also feel like you get to see the potential in stuff like this. So let's take a look. You can start this up.
Yeah, I do want to just address this one comment from Chase Hines here. Thanks for the comment. He said, should we be concerned of the simplicity of the Ole Miss offense instead of a pro style? Yeah, I definitely think that's one of the concerns that people have with Dart, myself included, and that's why he's not going to be a first-round pick. However, we've seen a lot of prospects come from collegiate-style offenses, then get coached up into a pro-style offense, figure it out, and become very talented players. For Jaxson Dart, I think that's just why a lot of people view him as more of a developmental project and somebody who doesn't start year one, maybe starts year two, maybe even waits till year three and then gets a starting job. So that would be the idea with Dart. You probably don't want to rush him in because he doesn't have that experience in a pro-style offense. So it is a concern, but at the same time, it just means that he's got room to grow and he has all the time in the world to grow. So I think in the right situation, he can grow into something really quality.
Absolutely. All right, let's see. Let's see him destroy Arkansas. Love that. Love that back shoulder.
Yep. It's a good back shoulder throw.
So good pocket too.
A lot of touch on that ball.
Yep. That's where I wanted to see more of, the touch. All right, let's see.
Quick RPO, quick read to the flat. It's fine. I know he does have a couple of big like splash plays on this film. I went through it a little bit. This maybe was called DPI. I can't tell.
From a flat base, where does that ball land? I just want to see how far that goes without him putting pretty much any weight into that throw. He throws that from the 45.
Yeah, and I would say I'd like to see him put a little bit more weight into it. I think he could have stepped into this thing a little bit more. He's kind of leaned backwards for some reason. I'm not sure why. I'd like to see him put his hips into it.
Yeah, to the 10.
Around the 10, yep.
So 45-yard throw.
Yep.
From a base. That's not bad. Get some yards. That's good. I like that navigation of the pocket there. Another design run at the middle. That works.
Yeah, this one worked. It opened up there. Worked.
He really navigates behind his blockers well, man. He really does. It's a good throw to the flat. I like it. Easy throw. Pitch and catch. Those little things, though, I think that's what makes Sanders so good, is that he does all those little things pitch perfect. All those throws are right on the money. So I like to see those as like a fundamental. What is that pass? What is number 40 doing? Do you see him? Watch number 40. He literally just does not try to tackle him.
I don't really understand what he's doing because he's supposed to be containing the edge. What is he?
Watch what
Why
he does.
doesn't he continue containing the edge?
Watch what he does. He just
Oh man, he thought that number 3 had the ball.
That's all
I
that
think
play
he thought
action will
number
do
3
for
had the
you.
ball. This is also I like the design on this QB draw to have the guy come in motion. It's pretty interesting. But I will say Dart runs up the middle here and he sees 22, so he tries to bounce it. He actually had a lane here. He maybe could have scored a touchdown if he just stuck to his hole, went up the middle.
Yeah. Number 40 has no idea what's going on. Completely lost.
I've never seen a player look more confused than number 40. That's a great
Beautiful
throw.
throw. Absolutely.
And a great catch.
Yep. Everything about that timing was absolutely perfect. Feet are good, quick.
Feet
are really good too. Yeah.
1-2.
Bam.
Throw it
out.
Back shoulder. Dime.
Gets leverage on it too. Nice. Free play. Or they called it a false start. No, that was definitely offside.
Yeah, but if the line moves.
Oh, yeah. So that was nice.
It's an excellent throw.
He gets through all of his progressions. Exactly. That's what I was mostly excited about.
The backside dig. Can you hit it? Yes, he can.
Yes,
That's the throw.
That's a really important one for us to see. Great pocket.
Yeah, when you got all day in the pocket. But even then, that was a tight window throw, and he zipped that thing in there. So impressive play.
Yep. That's another really good play.
Agreed.
He's balling today, or whenever this was.
This was on November 2nd, and they won this game 63-31.
Oh, he balled.
Yes.
He went crazy.
Spalding ball.
Yeah. Yes.
Trying to see what his stats were in this game. I know that they were like unreal.
I would have liked for him to stay in the pocket here, but I don't mind him resetting.
I don't hate that throw, but I bet his receiver hated it because he almost killed him.
I wanted him to make this throw earlier, though. If he would have got to the middle of the field, he would have had this throw way earlier.
Yeah, I don't know if he could have stayed in the middle of the pocket. And this almost looks like a holding. That left tackle again gets beat.
Well, right here, he could have stepped up. This is my concern with him.
19's open for sure.
That's what I'm saying. Like, my biggest concern with Jaxson Dart is right here, right this moment. He could have stayed in the pocket, just slightly moved to the right, and waited for this to be open and be able to read that coverage, understand where this guy's going to be, that he has leverage here by himself, just an extra half a second, and make that throw. Instead, he feels pressure and he bails really, really fast and then makes a risky throw downfield. That's kind of what freaks me out about him. And I think it's just inexperience. And I think it's just like his internal clock is a little bit too fast at times.
I agree with you. I don't think he goes through his progressions as well as I'd like him to. And I think this play, like you said, is a good example of that. 19 breaks open pretty fast here. I think the pressure obviously affects this, but again, he has this tendency, instead of drifting away from the pressure, he drifts into it very often. And I think that happens again here. Just
he could have bailed the other way.
He does create some time and some space for himself, but man, 19 was open the whole play. This ball should have gone to him so much sooner. And then when he finally does throw it,
it's risky.
There's a kill shot lined up there.
Yeah, dude, he could have killed him, man. I mean, this is a risky throw.
It's a Derek Carr throw right there.
And it's the guy that we labeled earlier. He was open way earlier in the play. It's the one thing that keeps popping up for me, though. That's one problem I keep seeing every game.
Yep. Takes the check down here. Again, he knows where the check downs are, which is good.
See, like, that's better. I don't mind that throw. He gets a DPI on it. Like, that's a much better. But this is what I want to see from him consistently. Buys himself a split second and makes that throw and takes a hit. Like, I'm cool with that. Like, that's what I want to see. I don't want to see him always bailing when he has a chance to make a play downfield, or make a throw that's more simple. This is a good opportunity, and he makes the throws. It's far enough. It's just he has pressure in his face, and he buys himself an extra split second to make that throw. And he also was getting held, so that probably was the difference there.
Yep, that was good movement in the pocket for sure, as you noted. Offensive line breaks down again. He moves.
It's a great throw, man, off his back foot. That's a hell of a throw.
While getting big shots at the chest too.
Oh, Jesus!
Does he make something of this?
No way.
Almost.
Did he catch that?
No. God, no. Wow, he's getting beat up in this game. Took another big hit there.
Yeah, he's getting nailed. His offensive line is just
The touch on that ball
inconsistent.
was really nice, but wasn't accurate.
His receivers are kind of slow. Like they never catch up to these passes. He's getting held a little bit back. There's a little hand fighting, but it's not enough to warrant any calls.
Yeah, I think this throw, I was like, there's a lot of touch on that throw. It wasn't really like good touch. He kind of moonballs it, and it's because he's leaning back. He's leaning too far back. If you ever play golf, when you lean back, or even soccer, when you lean back, things go up, right? Like if you lean back when you're hitting a volley in soccer, the thing's going to moonball, basically. It's the same thing with throwing a football. If you lean back too far, it just skies upwards and moonballs, and then it just drops down. And that's kind of what happened here to me. I think he leans too far back, and he just throws a moon, and it's not very accurate as a result.
That looked like a DJ throw. That does look like a DJ throw.
Yeah, I'm no longer commenting on such comparisons.
I like that. That was a good play.
This is a great play. I did see somebody say Carson Wentz as a comparison for him earlier.
That's a good one.
That's a pretty good comparison as well. Pro comps do not indicate what you think their potential are. It's just a playing style thing. And yes, I think that Carson Wentz has similar playing style, but need I remind people that Daniel Jones had comparisons to Carson Wentz coming out of college. So it's the same thing.
I mean, it's just the upside. That's a nice play. It's just
He's got tremendous upside. Like, he really does.
In traits. It's just the traits. Like Daniel Jones's worst problem was not the fact that he did not have traits. Daniel Jones's worst problem is that he literally could not read the field. He couldn't go through his progressions ever. So that was his biggest problem.
Yes,
he's from a tangible problem for him. From a frame. He has a perfect frame for an NFL quarterback. Perfect. Just his brain is a little slow. Not his fault.
Yeah, he's also got a great tight end build as well. He's built like a perfect tight end.
Taysom Jones.
Now we might be cooking.
All right,
I like this one-on-one coverage. See if it's a good ball. It's a dime.
That's gorgeous. That's what we want to see.
Who was Brady compared to him coming out of college? Dude, I wasn't even born. I don't know.
I don't know either, dude. I don't know.
Who is he compared to coming out? I have no idea. One thing I do know, nobody's ever been compared to Brady, though.
No. How do you compare anyone to Brady?
Just trying to look at his mechanics on this one. He does lean too far back in these throws, but I know it's because he's trying to get some air underneath it and leave it out there for the receiver to get under, which it works sometimes, but again, like on that other one, it shows some consistency and you'll get some underthrows out of it. But that one was just an absolute diamond stride. So
that couldn't have been placed any better.
Agreed. And also credit to the receiver for stacking the cornerback properly because he did a great job there.
Yeah, he wants to take these shots, man. Another one? Another one.
Time.
Okay.
Also really good. That's the same receiver, right? Wasn't it 11 who caught the other one?
Yeah.
This is a really good route, too. If you watch this one, he's going to attack the middle and then just bam.
That's a great throw, man.
Yeah, it's a great throw. And I really like the
back to back.
I think it's a throw with some pretty decent anticipation here as well. If you watch, as soon as he comes out of that break, he recognizes that step is going to be there and he throws it. So,
yep. That's a beautiful throw. I do think those throws are his upside. That represents what he can do. I mean, he puts his body behind that one too. He lays that thing out there.
Yeah, that was a great throw.
I mean, he had 500 yards in this game, almost 600 yards.
Yeah, it was something absurd. 6 touchdowns, 0 picks.
Insane.
This is the best game that he played last season for sure.
Probably of his career.
Probably.
I mean, he's dominant. Ooh. Okay, just miscommunication.
Yep. Just got to get rid of it, knowing that you're going to get hit.
Yep. Get rid of that thing. Oof, I was going to say if he made that throw, that would have been impressive.
Yeah, I mean, he's getting beat up in this game. Like, he's constantly under pressure. But he's made some really good throws in spite of that. So
he gets the ball there. I mean, the thing gets in there fast. It gets there in a hurry.
Ooh, H50 Pharaoh said the Rams will draft him and we won't be able to get him in the second round. He would make a lot of sense.
I literally said that. I literally said that yesterday. He would be a perfect candidate to sit behind Stafford.
Yeah, but you said it. I didn't put any stock into it. H50 Pharaoh said it, so now I care.
Obviously, yeah. This is how you guys know. Anthony does not take anything I say seriously. It's fine.
Yeah,
I'm just here as support. Just here as emotional support as a Giants fan.
Sure.
Another weird designed run, so it seems, or did something break down on that play?
Bobby Slowick got fired. Is that true?
Yeah. Yep.
What?
Crazy. I don't know why they would have fired him when the fact that half the receivers were dead all season.
Dude, he was like a top head coaching candidate last year. What is going on?
I would hire him. If Kafka left, I would hire him in a split second.
What are you telling me? Oh my God.
It's a great throw.
What are they thinking?
It's a good throw.
Yeah, it was a good throw. Lock back in. I unlocked there with the Slowick news. I got to lock back in. He throws that thing before the receiver's breaking. He's been doing that a lot in this game, throwing with anticipation, which I like. So
it looks like they're putting more pressure. They're trying to send extra blitzers at him now, and he's just getting rid of the ball where the space is being vacated.
Yeah, it's almost like that was bothering him earlier in the game, but as the game went on, it just stopped bothering him, which is great. And that's a great throw on the goal line fade here.
Yep. Nice positioning. Let's see. Oh, that's a nice throw, man. That's a nice hole shot right there. Right over that defensive back's head.
Yes.
No pressure. It's a great throw. I mean, only rushing 3 all time in the world.
Yeah, let's take another look at it. Single high coverage.
It's a good concept.
Really great route concept there for sure. To free that guy open against this. Looks like a cover 3.
Yeah. If you're worried about Dart drifting back in the pocket, Sanders is by far the worst drifting back in the pocket.
Stop. I knew where you were going with that.
I'm just gonna say, man, I'm being objective. I like Sanders though. Like he does a lot of his fundamentals are great. Just that is a major red flag that a lot of analysts have pointed out.
You guys would be amazed if you saw Alex's draft grade on Sanders with the way he talks about him. You'd think that he really views him as a franchise quarterback.
The grades do favor him. Athletically, no, but as an actual from a standpoint of like fundamentals, yes, they favor him.
How about that athleticism? My God, what a run!
I mean, this kid's got something, man. He's got some moxie to him. Oh, it's beautiful. He uses his blockers like a running back. I swear to God, like it's really impressive to watch him run. He's getting nailed. Yeah, I think there was a flag on the play. That pick by 11. Did you see that?
Dude, that guy looks dead on the field. What happened?
Did you just see what he did? Yeah, I don't think that's legal, dude.
Dude, look at him. Oh my God, he's like screaming in pain. Poor guy. It's a dime. Love that throw. Nice. Nice.
I have no idea what that comment means, but I feel massive amounts of disrespect.
I don't know what to say anymore.
So much the American way. I'm like, dude, we're watching an American sport.
That's a good throw too. And what I want to say about this one is this was not one of those moon balls or touch balls. This one is really deep downfield and he rips it with a lot of velocity, which I thought was very impressive. Man, whoever's doing the camera work in this stadium on the All-22, keep up. Like, what are you doing? Anyway, though, let's take a look. Read 1, read 2. Okay, let's get to 3. And
his line looks good this game, though.
Well, he's gotten hit quite a bit. On this play, it looks great. But
when he moves out of the pocket, he gets it. Yeah, there's been some instances where it's pressure, but there's a lot of moments where he has a nice, clean pocket in this game.
I do love the way he's attacking the defense on this play. But again, I just want to point out, like, this throw is velocity. This is not a touch ball. This is do your math, Alex. How far is this?
He's at what? He's at the 28. So he throws his where's the ball land?
Let's call it the 29.
30, 40? It's like 42 yards. Maybe 40 yards on a line, on a rope.
Isn't that 50? I feel like it's... Did we just swap positions? How did that happen?
I have no idea.
All right.
The gods decided.
We move. Let's keep it rolling. I don't know what to say anymore.
Yeah, that was a great throw, though.
Do math. It's the American way. I don't do math. I'm a writer. The 30 to the 30, isn't that 50 yards? That was a 50-yard throw, right?
40, 50. Yep,
No.
that's 50 yards. But he was at the 28 and he caught it at the 30. Is that where he caught it?
Guys, I don't want to talk anymore. I feel like I'm going to embarrass myself with my bad math skills.
Whatever, 40, 50. I think it was a rope. I don't really give a shit how far it was.
It was 40. It was 40. 30 to the 20, and then, or I mean, to the 50, and then 50 to the 30. That's 40 yards. So it was a 40-yard rope, which I love to see. Here's another just nuclear. Someone said carry the one.
That's always a good tip. Just carry the one.
Appreciate the advice. Oh my god.
That was a dart.
I love that.
Yo, you just know in the defense, like in practice next week, they stopped it right there and laughed.
For sure. For sure.
My dude's on all fours climbing after him.
I do love these play designs because, again, with this single high safety look, they've got two routes attacking the middle of the field in order to keep that single high attached to these two guys. And then it's just one-on-one. And if he beats his man, it's just green real estate. You lay that thing out there, and that's what Dart does. But again, I just want to highlight he's got something going on with his lower body mechanics here because he keeps falling backwards and leaning too far back on these throws. And I think maybe it's because the pressure was coming is why it happened on this one. And it's a dime, no doubt, but it's just something that I'm keeping an eye on. He does fade back a lot on these throws.
That he does.
I don't think the pressure had anything to do with that. I think, again, that's just there's something that he needs to clean up there. It's not showing up in a negative way right now, but, again, it's something I would keep an eye on.
He is dominating these guys, these poor cats, or whatever they are, hogs. Honestly, I just wanted to pan out because of his name.
Nice way to draw the PI.
See, this is what I want to see from Jaxson Dart more. And he does it a lot in this game. But look how he steps into the pocket and buys himself an extra second. That's what I want. And there's not much pressure on him, to be fair. But like, I just like how he navigates the pocket there and puts himself in the perfect position to have time to throw. I want to see more though. They are very bad. That is a horrible. What is he? Yeah, he's cranking that thing.
Yeah, there's something that he needs to
He just threw that ball like 65 yards. So yeah, that probably is why he abandoned everything.
Maybe, but I bet he's able to get it there with more velocity if he cleans up his feet.
Yeah.
No doubt he's got the arm strength, but if he can get the lower body strength into it.
I also can you go back to that play for a second? This is another problem. This is another thing that I wish he would do is step up here. Yeah.
Like I was saying earlier, he keeps running into the pressure when I feel like there's avenues for him. If he steps into this way, he can probably, and this guy's maybe open. I don't know. I have to see the wide angle to determine if there's anybody open, but I agree with you. Like the pressure comes from the left side and he often runs right into it. He tries to clear it and get around to buy more time. But if you just step into this pocket, I feel like you have opportunities for yourself.
Yeah, like that's a sack. That sack is on. I mean, yeah, there's pressure. The sack is on the offensive lineman, but like he could have done more there. And I think that's kind of like a part of his game that, like I said, consistently shows up as a red flag for me. He's going to have to work on his pocket movements and mobility in the pocket.
I agree with you.
I know, Farrow, you like Milrow. Anthony's a lot higher. I don't know. I won't speak for you, Anthony, but you're higher on Milrow than I am now. I think Milrow has a very, very long way to go as a passer.
I'm higher on Dart than I am on Milrow now. I've moved it. Like I had them as, what was it, like 3A, 3B? I think it's 3 and 4 now.
Yeah. I mean, DLW, keep in mind, like what you're saying is like you don't love what you're seeing on tape right now, but he had I'll tell you right now, in this game, he had 515 yards and 6 touchdowns. Like he was elite in this game. And like you're going to have some bad plays, obviously, of course. He threw the ball 31 times in this game. I mean, it's not like crazy for him. He's thrown it like 35 plus on multiple occasions, but like he he had an 80% completion rate on this game. Like he beat the shit out of them. So I don't really care about some bad clips every now and then if you're going to do stuff like that to opponents. So, but I do agree there are red flags. Like there are things that I do not like about his game, but he's just young. And to me, looks like he just lacks a bit of like professional refinement. You know, he looks like a little bit of a wild card.
Yeah. I think professional refinement, that's a great way to put it. He lacks professional refinement.
He looks like a college quarterback right now. If he was taught how to be an NFL quarterback, I think his traits translate, to be quite honest.
That's the thing that I like about him is he looks like a college quarterback with pro traits. And NFL teams, they don't look for if you have college traits and pro tendencies. They look at college traits and college tendencies and pro traits, which is what he has. So I actually do agree with you. I think that the professional refinement is what he needs.
Yeah. The stats don't matter as much, Charles Barkley. And if you are the real Charles Barkley, of course not. But I do think young Charles, actually.
That's him. It's got to be him.
I do agree with you. Like stats are stats, right? Like Bailey Zappi or whatever is a bad player because he is basically not mobile whatsoever. He doesn't have that many pro traits. I think Jaxson Dart has some pro traits. I think that if his arm got a bit stronger, if he could get a little bit better in terms of his discipline in certain areas, there's a lot to work with here, though. Like there's a lot of traits to work with. He needs 2 years to sit. And that's kind of like if I'm the Giants, I'm probably not going to end up taking him because they don't have time to wait 2 years for him to sit and learn the system and learn an offense at an NFL level. But if I was a team like the freaking Rams, I would love a player like Jaxson Dart. Love a player like this.
Agreed. But let's imagine the world where the Giants acquire a bridge quarterback that they feel can reasonably start for them for 2 years. Then I think Jaxson Dart makes a lot of sense in round two.
And I'll throw in another thing into that equation. And Anthony, you're going to love this, is that if you do something like that, it opens up your whole world to take another quarterback in the first round next year if you end up in the position to take one. So like you end up getting a high upside guy in Dart who may flash stuff as a rookie. You don't know. And if it doesn't really look like things are going the way you want, you just draft one in the first round next year because you spent a second rounder on a high upside player the year before. No sweat off my back. You know, I'm doing that every day of the week.
Right. That would be the equivalent of the Giants drafted Jalen Hyatt in the third, and then the following year they took Neighbors in the first. Jalen Hyatt in the third doesn't prevent you from taking that quarterback, that superstar receiver. Jaxson Dart doesn't prevent you from taking that superstar quarterback.
Yep.
So, agreed. All right, so I'll close this film down since we went through it, and let's give our recaps and takeaways.
Let us cook. Let me get the new graphic on there. Why are we backwards again? Like, what happened here?
I don't know what you did, but
I did nothing.
I fixed it. I fixed it. You're welcome.
Thank you. Nonetheless, we always love to have good conversation in the comments. We love anything that you guys like. If you disagree, we like to have just the insults we don't appreciate. It's more so like we want to have good conversation, and we learn from you guys too. And we love to have those talks. Don't call us stupid because we get upset. But this is
maybe you do. I'm an ironclad man right here. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I didn't sound like that when people were questioning your Daniel Jones comparisons earlier.
Well, that was just like you're frustrating. You're being frustratingly annoying. But they weren't making fun of me and calling me names. They were just like, it wasn't computing what I was saying, and that was frustrating me.
That's fair enough. Fair enough. But anyway, Jaxson Dart watched 2 more games. One dominated. One struggled early on, but kind of picked it up in the second half. I liked it a lot more. I definitely think there's a lot of traits here I like. I think that his arm in that Arkansas game, Anthony, it was kind of funny though, because he overthrew some balls in that Arkansas game and then underthrew balls in the Georgia game. So I'm not concerned that he doesn't have the arm strength. I'm more concerned of the consistency for it. So that's kind of where I'm like a little bit off about it. It's inconsistent mechanics. It's the inconsistent pocket movement. It's sometimes, his progressions are a bit slow. Like he doesn't take the throws. He doesn't react. He's not as decisive as I'd like him to be. These all sound like a product of his scheme in a lot of ways. You know what I mean? They all sound like things that are, there are obviously some mechanical issues that I don't think are right. Scheme related. They're just him related. And I think that will need to be addressed at the next level. I do not see him as a first round pick, right? I do not think he's a first round pick in this draft class. I think that he is in a second round quarterback in this draft class is not great. It's not great for him, you know, in terms of his upside. I think there's a lot to work with, but it's going to take time. It's going to take 2 years, in my opinion. But, you know, with that being said, Cam is definitely someone I love. I think there are red flags. The last film review we did, we saw some things in Cam's game that he's going to have to find a balance for in the NFL. And then Shedeur Sanders, yeah, I have red flags for Shedeur as well. I think that he mechanically is very sound, but and I think that I don't remember who said this, Anthony, but called him an overachiever. He overachieves all of his weaknesses and expectations. He's not a great athlete. His arm's good. It's not great. I just do think that there are limitations to his game. I think his ceiling is limited, but I do think his floor is solid. So that's where I see Sanders. Solid floor, but limited ceiling. And when I see Cam Ward, I see crazy ceiling, very, very... The floor could be lower than Sanders by a considerable margin if he doesn't piece it together. He could be a turnover machine at the NFL level if he doesn't get more balance to his game, in my opinion. But if he figures it out and he's open to that coaching, and I think he is very open to coaching, he will get better and he will iron those deficiencies, and I think he will improve over time. So, you know, that's kind of how I see these guys now. But Dart, honestly, I think I'm a bit lower on him after watching those videos because I do think he needs more time to learn than previously thought, even though I liked what I saw.
I laughed not because I agree with you, but I laughed just because I think it's hilarious that we watched a game where he threw for 500 something yards and 6 touchdowns and we ended up lower on him. And I think, you know, sometimes when you watch those games where they beat up on opponents, it actually doesn't make you more confident in them. It's just kind of like, all right, they're beating up on a good opponent, but now we can see when they're thriving, this is supposed to be them at their best.
Saw the same red
but
flags.
we still see some flaws. I think that's
the same red flags too.
Moments.
It's the same problems I keep seeing, and even in his dominant performances, that concerns me, right? Because now I know it's a real problem. Because it's not like, oh, one game's like this, the next game it's gone. Then he figures it out every game. We watched 3 games of his now. That's a pretty nice sample size of film that we've watched on Jaxson Dart. In every single one of those games, the same exact problems I saw. So these are not just one-offs. These are habits. These are bad habits that we're witnessing. And that is concerning to me. He's going to need time. So, you know.
Well, this is a good comment, though, from our boy Greg Turthaler. The Georgia film is as close to a pro defense as he's going to face. That was the 3rd-ranked team in the nation, and he did look good in that game, in my opinion. The stats weren't as pretty.
Second half.
I actually think he arguably looked better in that game than he did in the Arkansas game. The Arkansas game, I mean, he was just throwing up bombs, and they were caught almost every single time. But a lot of them were mechanically poorly thrown. But I do think that Georgia game, there was a clear progression from quarter 1 to quarter 4 where he had some problems with his pocket presence and then he fixed them as the game went on. He had some issues with reading from 1 to 2 to 3, and then by the end of the game he was getting to that 3rd progression, making some throws. So I agree. I think that the Georgia film definitely strengthened the case for Jaxson Dart, especially considering the quality of that defense. However, the flaws being present in every game just make it apparent. I think that if there's anything that he does figure things out in real time. That's a good point. And he really did progress in that game, like I said. But I think the one thing that gives me a little bit more pause on Jaxson Dart, Alex, compared to where I was last week, I saw more mechanical flaws in this batch of film review than I did last week. Last week, I thought he was pretty sound mechanically. Now I feel like he actually has a lot more refinement that needs to be done to his mechanics than I initially realized, which is going to lower him a little bit more for me and make me view him as more of a project. The fact that his feet get so inconsistent sometimes, I think that there are some moments where he really needs to refine that, and that's going to take coaching, and that's going to make him more of a project, like I said, and that's going to make him more of a player who needs time before he can start at the NFL level. So that would be the detail that I would say would lower him a little bit for me after this film review.
Yeah, I definitely think that. And Ian, dude, looking absolutely cute today for sure. I appreciate you. But yeah, like Dart, and when I say I'm lower on him than I previously was, it's not that I don't think he's worth taking a shot on in the 2nd round. It's that I think he just needs a bit more time than I originally thought. I thought maybe he could be one of those, like, you bridge him and he could end up starting for you at some point in his rookie year later on. But I actually think he needs like 2 good solid years of like refining his mechanics and getting there. And that's, I don't mind, or 2 off seasons even. He could start in his 2nd year, you know?
Yeah, well, what if he gets on the VR machine and then just develops really quickly like Jaden Daniels? Maybe he is ready to go week one.
I mean, shit, like I'm down. Like,
um, so TCCAA asks how old is Dart? He's 21 years old.
he's
So just
young.
to
That's what
compare,
I
he's
like
one
about
of
him,
the
though.
youngest quarterbacks in the class, which again makes him the project, but also makes it when we look at these flaws in his game, we know that they're easily correctable because he is so young and has so much more time to grow. So those are among the strengths for him. I want to respond to the rest of this comment though from Ian. Not only the fact that he called you cute, but also the fact that he says that he loves Jalen Milroe and thinks the upside is there and thinks the rushing is a floor. I think that rushing as a floor thing is a pretty interesting point. You could argue that at the very least, he's going to be able to make some plays and be decent at the quarterback position because his rushing upside is so high. So maybe that is a floor for him. I think that's an interesting take here, Alex. I'll get your take on that as we start to draw this stream to a little bit of a close.
Repeat that one more time.
It's on
What
the
your
screen
question
in front
was?
of you, man. It's
Oh,
right
oh,
there.
just that. I thought I already
The
addressed the
Milrow
fine.
part. No, the
Okay,
Milrow part.
not the cute part. Okay. Um,
This guy.
so Milrow, yeah, his floor is the rushing qualities, but he, as a passer, is so far from being competent in the NFL, in my opinion. And the reason for that is that when the play breaks down, he's dead. Like, he's going to run for sure. And if you're an opposing defensive coordinator, all you have to do is just send an extra blitzer, force him to drop his eyes, and then clean him up with a spy. That's all you have to do. And he's going to be limited. Like, you can scheme away his running qualities. That's why I don't care much for it. Like, if he could run and throw as well, yeah, we're talking about a legit like top 5 prospect. But his throwing and his game in that regard is extraordinarily limited at this point in time. Again, another player I think needs 2 years to learn how to be a damn NFL quarterback. I think Jaxson Dart's mechanics and throwing qualities are head and shoulders above Jalen Milroe's. I think as a runner, of course, they're much different, but Jaxson Dart's still pretty good as a runner, not obviously anywhere close to Milroe. But I think as a pure quarterback, they're vastly different prospects.
Completely different prospects. And I'll say to Greg's point, Dart attacks NFL defenses much better than Milroe does, that's for sure. And he actually attacks them. Greg thinks he attacks them better than anybody in the draft. I think he faced the most NFL caliber defenses and style defenses. And so, yeah, he does attack them better than anybody. And I think a lot of that has to do with experience. We do talk about him being young and being moldable and needing time to develop. He's got 3 years of starting experience, Dart does. So he's played a lot, and he's played in a lot of big games against a lot of big teams, big universities. So
yeah,
there is a lot to like.
that.
I like Jaxson Dart. I see the upside there. I think that this is the perfect prospect that you take on day 2. Again, he's not a first-round prospect. In fact, I think he's a third-round prospect that you feel comfortable taking in the second round. But that upside is great. And I think that in the right situation with the right people around him and definitely the right coaching, yeah, Jaxson Dart can be a pretty special player.
Yeah, I mean, the fact of the matter is that he played Kentucky, LSU, Oklahoma, Georgia, and Duke. I mean, I wouldn't label Duke as anything special, but like he played a couple of ranked and elite teams in this past season. That to me is a huge plus for Jaxson Dart because he put up some good numbers and good performances against very good teams. Cam Ward did not play any really good teams last year. Shedeur Sanders, not even close. The competition that those two guys placed were poor comparably to what Jaxson Dart faced in the SEC. So I do think from that perspective, Dart put up some nice moments. Not to say that he's a better prospect than those two guys, of course. More so just the competition was better. So I think that does play a part in the equation, though. He's going to go into the NFL understanding how to attack defenses that are more similar to NFL defenses than those two alternative options in the first round. So that is something to consider, in my opinion.
Yeah, maybe that makes him less of a project than we're,
certainly possible.
indicating. So, hey, and again, like we've got opinions and we've got projections. You really never know in the NFL. Like they can land in the perfect situation, they can have the perfect coach, and boom, they're ready to go. So, but I do think there's a lot to Dart's game that makes him a project and makes him a player who needs time to grow and develop. But again, I'll just keep saying it. I think the upside is absolutely there. And I think he's got a lot to like in his game. And if he goes to the right situation, well, hell yeah, I think that he could be a franchise quarterback. So I also want to address one last comment before we duck out of here from Jason McDonald, Titans fan here enjoying the breakdowns. That's awesome. the fact that we've got opposing teams, fans in here to watch the breakdowns, we really do appreciate that. And we're enjoying the breakdowns. I love doing these. It's fun. It's a lot more casual as well. We get to kind of just chat with the chat rather than, just talk with each other. I like the third element here. So these are fun. And again, this was a really good breakdown. Again, I think we learned a lot about Dart. TCCAA said Jaxson Dart beat Jaden Daniels when they played last year. Yes, he did, but Ole Miss did. So, that's it's a team sport, but no, you are right. And I think that at some point we're going to take a look at that game film, watch Jaxson Dart versus LSU in 2023 and give our takeaways to that one as well. But yeah, Alex, I think this is pretty much about wrapping it up. You got any last thoughts on Dart or anything else discussed in today's breakdown?
I think we got through a lot, to be honest. I do think right now we're looking at these prospects, all of the quarterbacks, just to gather information and see where, when they do draft a quarterback, and they probably will, which player they end up getting and what do we know about them. And that way we can give the best informed information as possible. So, right now, I think we're still in the same boat, Anthony. It's Cam, it's Sanders, and then it's Jaxson Dart. You're a little bit more high on Sanders and closely comparing them in terms of overall grades to Cam. I think that Sanders, those two guys, they work together, they train together every day. Like they're two peas in a pod. You see the videos all the time on Twitter and social media. So they're working hard. They're getting ready for this draft. And ultimately, as a Giants fan, I'll be happy to root for something that is unknown. And that's kind of where I'll end this episode, is like, I just want something to rally behind and galvanize our fan base behind and be able to see any sense of optimism. Because right now I have nothing optimistic to say about the team, really, because we don't have a quarterback on the roster. We don't have a future on the roster. So once we get something that represents a future, I can rally behind that and I can be positive about that. But until then, we're going to try to figure out who the best player is for this team. And right now, it's a toss-up. Like, Sanders makes sense because they want stability and consistency, and he does offer a lot of good mechanics in that regard. And Cam Ward is the wild card, where you take a chance on him, you could end up getting burned because he doesn't figure out how to be less risky. But if he figures it out, he's going to be an all-pro. Like, that's his upside. So it's going to be interesting to see.
Yeah, and then it's just going to come down to, are the Giants going to bank on upside and traits, or are they going to bank on refinement and ability to win immediately? That's what it's going to come down to, and we'll see what the Giants' preferences are. But also, they don't hold the number one pick, so they got to worry about what's happening in front of them at numbers 1 and 2 from the Titans and the Browns. So it's going to be a really fun offseason. It already has been. It just got started a few weeks ago, and we're already cooking with the breakdowns and the discussions, and you guys are really enjoying it. So just know, every single day, we're going to keep going right here on Fireside Giants. So make sure to leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, ring the bell. Make sure you follow us on all of our social medias at Fireside Giants, and also go check out BetUS, our sponsor for every episode. We'll catch you all in the next one. Have a good one, and let's go Giants.